Welcome back, folks. Back for another book review. This book is The Big Sort by Bill Bishop. Uh, Bishop's book is essentially about how like minded individuals move or live in areas where their views or values are shared, and basically how this limits growth and aids in the imbalance of equality. Uh, he uses several supporting statistics to support his claim in his book, but the most important part to grasp and to seek to understand about his books or the about this book is the ideas, the conclusions that he come about, from these statistics that he used. For one, he talks about how people tend to decide to migrate to places that match their personal politics in the same way they choose which political party to support or to follow because it feels right. Uh, this can and has led to more partisan areas in reference to elections and politics. I mean, you got people that care about the same thing in one big area, and that big area is going to pretty much vote people in that care about those very same issues. There's no mix and matching going on, trying to cover all your bases or try to get as close as we can to meeting everybody's needs because there's only one mindset in that general area. So you kind of understand how that goes. Excuse me. Me, in my opinion, when this happens, people's vote. They vote, but voting becomes less of an expression of political opinion and more of a sign of allegiance. The people that get elected now become representatives of the majority in a certain demographic because different morals, views, and values are no longer shared and valued by all. At this point, you have people of the same mindset, point of views, and concerns voting for the same representatives. So nothing ever really changes. It's all about who's the majority and who's the minority. And another example, Bishop talks about the tendency for people to confirm their existing beliefs, how people choose to listen to news sources that match their preferences and build confidence in their pre-existing opinions. Me, in my mind, and this mindset aids individuals by reassuring their more extreme beliefs, and the separation between groups gets larger and larger. People seek out living arrangements that don't really challenge their cultural expectations, morals, or values. One of the effects of these and other examples he presents is what he call it post-materialism, which is a cultural shift in which, after having basic needs fulfilled and more freedom because of economic prosperity, a change in values takes place within a person, and established institutions are abandoned and mistrusted. And me personally, I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. In conclusion, or should I say, within his conclusion of his research, uh, Bishop summarized his findings up until now, the 21st century, and gave specific details how he saw that the country is separated in a multitude of different ways. He states that well-educated individuals congregated in certain cities, helping the economics there to flourish and increasing the average wages. Whites left factory cities and the largest and moved to what they call high-tech cities, uh, and recreational and retirement cities, cities with the most technology and highest levels of patent pending production. Uh, Blacks, on the other hand, moved to cities with strong black communities, and that these low-tech cities were more civic-minded with higher rates of volunteering and more on the emphasis of family values. I agree with this view on these points, but one key thing I think that either he failed to realize or just failed to mention is that there's a vast majority of people climbing up the poor class to the upper middle class level. I watch this group migrate myself. I watch them every day migrate to areas solely on what they can afford, not their views, political views, or we share these opinions, but what can I afford? The most that I can afford to put my kids in a position to where they can get good schooling, because good schools is where all the money is. The funds allocated to the schools are based on the taxes collected in the area from the residents. And if you got houses that's run down or beat up and there's no real money running around in your neighborhood, more than likely your schools are going to be trash. And you don't want your kids going to a trashy school. So you move to a different neighborhood to where they can get that. I have that opportunity to get a good education and give them a chance. But you don't do that based on, oh, they think like me, oh, they look like me. And if that was the case, then most black folks or Hispanic folks would never leave out of the hood. Because if you step anywhere outside of that, none of my neighbors look like me at all. I didn't move here for them. I ain't move here for their views. Invite them to things, they not gonna come. They haven't came. What I've noticed now is that neighbors are, when you're stepping out of that zone and you're trying to mix migrate, is what Bill Bishop is promoting. It's no longer neighborhoods; they're just neighbors. It's not it's no real communication or I look out for you, you look out for me. How you doing, neighbor? Blase blase. It's none of that. So I think he kind of missed that aspect, and I think he only missed that aspect because he cannot relate to that aspect. But overall, the book, he had some really good points in this book, and I think it was pretty decent. All right, folks. See you later. Christina, didn't she tell you?